everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Lexie, and today's video is probably going to be on the longer side, so I'm going to try to get through it pretty quickly. But it is a book haul, and I have a pretty large book haul here. Excuse me. I just want to kind of come in and say this is, I purchased a lot of these through Book Outlet. This video is not sponsored whatsoever, but they had some really good deals and I picked up way too many books. I don't know if I'll ever read the amount of books I got, but I got them for a great deal. So, most of them I honestly did not read the covers or the backs, or, you know, the blurbs about the books, because if you've watched this channel, if you know anything about me, I love romance books. I'm venturing into other genres and I am enjoying it, but I do love romance books. They're just fun, quick reads for me. So I pretty much got ones that I think looked good. Just the covers kind of called out to me and said, hey, pick me, and I did. So yeah, that's majority of the books for the most part. I have some other ones thrown in, so you can see a little bit of the stack right here, but we're gonna just jump in. I'm gonna start with my Book of the Month Club books that I've recently got. I want to say, did I order? I don't know. I think I finished some books that were in the book haul, but they'll be in a video that of my finished reads for the month. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. First of all, this I was so excited about because how pretty is this cover? I absolutely loved it. Has a little dachshund on there. We used to have a dachshund and I loved her to death. So this book was just calling my name because it's just so pretty. So this follows, what is her name? Tita Rosie's. No, that's her aunt's. Lila. When Lila moves back home, she ends up taking over her family's restaurant. She needs to save it, all this stuff, but she's a cook. And so this book is going to be, it says it's going to be a cozy series full of sharp humor and delectable dishes, one of which might just be a killer. So it's kind of like a cozy mystery kind of series from what I'm getting, so it sounded great. But she goes back, she's a chef at her family's restaurant. Well, her ex-boyfriend is a just terrible food critic. And he ends up dying after eating the food there. So pretty much this book is about her trying to clear her name, saying, hey, I didn't kill him. So yeah, I think that sounds pretty cool. I guess I'm just going to start my pile on the floor here. Next one is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This tied with Arsenic and Adobo for my #1 pick from my Book of the Month club. I couldn't just pick one, so I got both. So this one follows Alex and Poppy. They were friends for a very, very long time. They used to go on summer vacations together. Well, something happened and they're no longer friends, but Poppy wants to try to do one more vacation to see if she can kind of save that relationship with him. So it sounds like a nice little summer romance read. The cover is super pretty. I've heard that Emily Henry's first book, Beach Read, was fantastic. So I do want to pick that up eventually, but I'm not sure when I will. I want to read that, but I'm excited to read this one. So yes. Okay, next is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. So if you have not heard of this book and live under a rock like me and only recently found it, this is about Chloe Brown, who has a chronic illness. I thought she had survived some kind of life-threatening illness, but no, she has a chronic illness. So pretty much everybody keeps telling her, you need to get a life, you need to get a life. You can't just live your life based on your illness. And so she makes a list of what she wants to do, and I think she ends up asking a bad boy, like the local bad boy, for help with her list, and I'm assuming that she's gonna end up falling in love with this bad boy. So I'm interested to see where Chloe's story takes us. Okay, next is The Hunting Wives by May Cobb. First of all, this cover is beautiful. I love it. Yeah, you have the one bullet and then you have the lipsticks going up. So this follows Sophie O'Neill, who moves from a big city. I'm not even going to try to find it right now because I'm trying to blow through this video, to Texas. And she ends up joining this club of wives where they shoot and drink and all this stuff, gossip. Well, they end up finding a dead body where those girls or where those wives meet. And so I think this book, without knowing too much, because I don't want to know too much, I don't want to spoil too much. I think it's them just trying to, or it's her just trying to say, hey, we had nothing to do with it, or I had nothing to do with it. So she moves into town, gets in with these new group of women, and now she's trying to clear, you know, any involvement in this. So I think it's going to be interesting. Okay, now I'm gonna just bring up these next three. So this is the Bromance Book Club, Book 1, Book 2, and Book 3. So I think that these have some of the best storylines so far for me. I think they sound really, really interesting. So what the Bromance Book Club is it follows like the elite men in Nashville, which I love Nashville, so I'm kind of excited to be reading books based in Nashville. So pretty much what it is it follows the elite men in Nashville, and they have a book club, and pretty much they use this book club to fix marriages, to maybe get with the woman they want, or to, you know, to catch her attention. So pretty much these men read these kind of, I think the first one is kind of like his historical kind of like sexy kind of book. I think that's what he's using to fix his marriage. I haven't really read too much into these two because I know I'm going to probably love this one, so I wanted to pick up the other two anyways. So they use this book club to pretty much, they read romance books to help with their own love life. I thought those are actually a really interesting plot to them, so I picked up all three because I got them on sale at the book outlet. So yes, I thought that was fantastic. I was excited for those. Okay, now let's see. So this is called The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda. Now, if you haven't seen this book, you need to go and like find it, because on the cover you can see rain, but you can also feel it. It's very textured. I think it's really, really cool. Okay, so this one says, this one's based on a little small town in Maine. Two girls are friends. One ends up dead, and then the dead girl's family ends up thinking that the friend did it, but she didn't, and she's trying to clear her name. So I thought this sounded pretty darn good, looked great, so I picked it up. Okay, now The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. I absolutely love Christina Lauren. Granted, I've only read one book, and that's The Unhoneymooners, but Christina Lauren has, I think she'll probably be one of my favorites, so I found this one. And I picked this up. I think this is, yeah, so this follows a girl who's an assistant or worked for a design guru couple. I kind of, when I think about it, when I read it, it's like Chip and Joanna Gaines is kind of like what I think of. But I guess the couple's falling apart, and she has to work with James McCann, and pretty much to keep the show afloat. And if they can keep the show afloat or the couple afloat, I'm not 100%, some really good opportunities are going to happen to the both of them if they can keep the couple kind of like from not falling apart. So I'm assuming based on them having to work together, helping the couple, they're gonna probably end up falling for each other. Not sure, but that's kind of what I'm guessing. So we'll see. And there goes my pile. Okay, so let's do the next one is The Good Luck Charm by Helena Hunting. So from what I understand, yes, so a woman named Lila she was dating a hockey player, and he ends up leaving to focus on his hockey career. Well, he ends up, and she was heartbroken. Well, he ends up coming back in the picture because things aren't doing so good for him, and he thinks that she's kind of like her good luck charm. So he's coming back in the picture trying to woo her again, but she doesn't know if it's just for his career or if he really wants to be with her. So sounds pretty interesting. I'm assuming that she's gonna think it's just because she's a good luck charm, but it's because he actually regrets letting her go and he really does like her and wants to be with her. But we'll see how the book goes. Okay, I know I'm going through this fast. It's because I have a ton. Okay. Love and Other Mistakes. So what is this one? Okay, so this follows Natalie and Jeremy. They were engaged. They ended up breaking their engagement. And then what was it? Oh yeah. Jeremy ends up coming back with an infant son and his niece. And he regrets ever leaving Natalie. And she gets a new job opportunity, but pretty much it's going to be a marriage of convenience between them. He needs help raising the kids, and she needs help with her job, I'm assuming. And so it's going to be a marriage of convenience, but I think it's going to turn into real love, honestly. I think they're going to end up falling for each other. And if you can hear my dog snoring, my dog Luna is sitting here sleeping under my desk, and she's snoring like she's had the hardest day of her life when all she's done is play and eat her breakfast. So yeah, if you can hear her snoring, I'm sorry. But yes, so marriage of convenience, I'm assuming, is going to turn into a real marriage. So, okay, next book is Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner. I love the cover. It looks like a really good book for the summertime. But this follows Daphne Berg 8 years after a fight that ended a friendship. She ends up getting a call. She ends up getting a call and saying, hey, can you be my maid of honor? From this friend that she hasn't spoken to in 8 years. Well, there's a man there. What his name is, it doesn't say, but it says a guy materializes. She ends up, I think, hooking up with him, and then she wakes up on the day of the wedding to find that he has vanished and that something has terribly happened to her friend. So now it's trying to find the guy and figure out what happened. I think that sounds pretty interesting. So I'm assuming, I don't know, I can't tell if this is, I can't tell if this is love, like a romance book, a murder mystery book, or I don't know. So it's kind of like an intriguing book because you don't know kind of what to expect. So I think this will be interesting. Okay, next. Head Over Heels by Hannah Orenstein. Now, what is this one? So it follows Avery Abrams, who makes her, so she's training her entire life to be on the Olympic gymnastics team. So it says that, so a really bad performance ends her career, and her best friend, who did go on to win the medal, went and married her coach. And now that I guess she's broken up with a football star boyfriend, she returns to her hometown, and she, I guess, is helping coach some gymnastics. So she's kind of back in that realm of gymnastics that she had left. And the coach that asked her to help Ryan, who is an old acquaintance, pretty much, I think, sparks fly. So we're going to probably see her come to terms with what happened to her career and maybe her falling in love. Okay, so this one I have the second one. So let me grab it so I can talk about it together. Okay, now which one is the first one? Let me look into that. Okay, so the sequel in the first one. So 99 Days and 9 Days and 9 Nights. this one is One Summer, Two Brothers, An Impossible Choice. So I really haven't read much into this or this because I haven't read this one. I don't want to read the cover of this one, maybe give something away. So this says One Summer, Two Brothers, One Impossible Choice. Kind of reminds me of like The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. I feel like it's going to be her one summer, two brothers, kind of choosing between one. Or choosing between the two, so having a hard time choosing one. And I'm assuming this is going to kind of be like the fallout, maybe what happens after this book. So it sounded pretty interesting. I loved the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy, so something very similar. I really didn't, you know, pass it up. I was like, that sounds pretty good, and if it's anything like that, then I'll be happy. Okay, and then I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. If you're one of the few like me who haven't read it, I don't even know what it's about, but it has such a cult-like following, and I loved From Blood and Ash, so I figured I'd pick this up and give this a try because the new one just came out not too long ago. It did get picked up by Hulu to become, whether it's a TV show or movies, I'm not sure, but it did get picked up, so I figured I might as well start reading it now because I want to be prepared. So I did pick up that one. Okay, next is American Royals by Catherine McGee. I think I've talked about this in in my like TBR, so I won't go into too many details. America has a monarchy instead of a presidency. There's two princesses trying to fight for the same hand of a prince. So it's probably going to be like I think it's a young adult romance book, two sisters fighting over the same guy, but they're royals. So yeah, I thought that sounded pretty good. I like any book with royalty, honestly. Okay, next I picked up Bridgerton. So part of the Bridgerton series, this is An Offer from a Gentleman. I think this is the first one, or third one, and I think this follows Benedict. So Benedict is, I can't remember which brother he is. I think one of the older ones. I'm not sure. I don't know which one he is, but I have the rest of the series right here, and I just didn't have the third one, and I saw this at Sam's Club, so I picked it up, and I figured I would add it because I am reading The Viscount Who Loved Me, the second one, Anthony Bridgerton's book, and so far I think it's pretty funny. I think, well, funny, cute, romantic, whatever you want to classify it as. I think that it's pretty good so far, so I picked up the third one so I can continue the series. Okay, these next four I got because I've actually surprisingly never read them. I loved the movies, so I figured I would try the series. I didn't know how big the series was, so I actually need to get quite a few more, but I picked up some books in the Princess Diaries series because I love the movies. Like I said, Mia Thermopolis, I don't know, I love it, so I figured why not read the books. So I picked up Princess in the Spotlight, Princess Mia, The Princess Diaries, and Project Princess, as I throw it, which is like a little pamphlet, honestly. It will probably, it's 50 pages, so I can probably sit down and read it probably between 30 minutes and an hour, so that'll be really quick. I didn't even realize this was so small. But I think these are the first, I don't even think these are the first three. I think I have one, two, and then I think I have one later in the series. But I did get these for a really good deal. I think I got these free because I bought when it was buy two, get one, and I think these were the cheapest ones, so I got these for free. So I figured I'm going to start reading the Princess Diaries series because why not? I'm thinking of kind of buddy reading this summer those with one of my good friends. We love Disney. We love the Princess Diaries movies, so I think we're going to buddy read those because I think those will be fun. Okay, we're getting there. We are, I promise. Next is Not Like the Movies by Carrie Winfrey. I really, honestly, it was the cover that got me for this. But this one says, what happens when your life is a rom-com, but you don't even believe in true love? So this follows Chloe Sanderson. She has a father who has early onset Alzheimer's. So she's been responsible for pretty much everything, taking care of him, all that good stuff. And it says that so she has no time or interest in getting swept up in a dazzling romance. And so apparently her best friend writes a rom-com which has been turned into a movie. And everybody's so excited about it. But she bases it off of Chloe and her boss, their relationship. And now everybody is shipping Chloe and her boss. And she reads like some of the fan fiction, I think, online. And pretty much from there, she can't see her boss as anything different. So she doesn't have time for a relationship, but she can't stop herself. So I think that'll be an interesting story to read. Okay, next is The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. It follows Kristen Peterson, who is keeping a big secret, and the secret is that she's going through a big procedure and pretty much she's not going to be able to have kids. So what happens is that she's planning her best friend's wedding and she meets the best man, Josh, and I'm assuming that they start falling for each other, but she has her secret of she can't have children and she doesn't want to be with Josh because she doesn't want to take the chance of Josh having kids away from him. So yeah, I think that's what this book is about. I haven't really read thoroughly into it, but I'm assuming that, I don't know, maybe it'll end with he doesn't care about having kids, but he wants her, or miraculously she's able to have kids and they end up staying together. Who knows? Okay. So next, this one I think I'm the most excited about. Well, kind of. I don't know. I've been seeing this everywhere and the cover just excites me. This is Back in the Burbs by Tracy Wolff and Avery Flynn. This I think is really, the cover really drew me to it. But this follows, what is her name? I don't think it says. Okay, I don't think it says. But pretty much her aunt dies, she inherits a house, and she moves to the suburbs to take care of this house, and pretty much there's a whole bunch of HOA violations, and she meets the neighbor, so I'm assuming it's gonna be her trying to fix up the house, get the HOA violations off, and probably fall in love with the neighbor. So, sounds like a good spring summer read to me. So yeah. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, In 5 Years by Rebecca Cyril? So this, from what I can remember, a woman goes to sleep and wakes up 5 years in the future. She wakes up next to a man who she has no clue who he is. He's not the man she went to sleep next to, and her life is completely different. So I believe this book is going to be her trying to figure out what happens in her life or why her life took that route. Does she need to change anything, or is she actually really happy in the decisions that she's making in the present in her life? That's what I'm assuming this book is about. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really read too much into it. I kind of like to go into books blind, I think. Some of them I do. So that's what this book is roughly about. Sounds interesting. It looks super, super short. 250 pages. I could probably blow through this in a second. So yeah, we'll see how interesting that is. I think that sounded like an interesting kind of plot for the book. So I'm excited for it. Excuse me. Talking too much. Okay, next is A Party of Two by Jasmine Gilroy. I love this because I feel like this is going to be on my July DBR, because look at it. It just reminds me of 4th of July. This probably has nothing to do with the 4th of July, but it's just so pretty and that's what it reminds me of, so it's probably going to be in the month of July, which is less than 2 months away. That is insane. This is a chance meeting with a handsome stranger turns into a whirlwind affair that gets everyone talking. I believe this is a girl who ends up going on a date or dating a politician, and I think that the press kind of like lean in on her, I think. She doesn't have any interest in dating a politician, but she can't resist, so it says that he's sweet, funny, noble, but he has a high-profile job. silly disguises, but when they finally go public, the intense media scrutiny means people are now digging up her rocky past. Sounds interesting, but the cover is really what got me, so this will probably be in, like I said, my July TBR, but we'll see. Okay, next is Girl Gone Viral by Alicia Ray. I think that Swipe Right or Right Swipe book, it was actually by her as well. This says, this, I believe, someone films a date or something that she is on. Oh, she's enjoying an innocent conversation with a random guy at a coffee shop, and then a stranger live tweeted their conversation, and now the hashtag Cafe Bay is swooning, has the world swooning. She had went viral, but she had built this private life for herself, but now she's gone viral. So now they're looking for her. Yeah, so, oh yeah, the Right Swipe was hers as well. Okay, so yeah, she goes viral, and then I think she has such like a private life that she's trying to hide, and the world's trying to find her because they think that her and that guy belong together. I think that sounds pretty interesting. So who knows? I'm hoping I like Alicia Ray's writing because I have 2 of her books, but her books actually sound really interesting, like cute little romance books. So yeah. Oh, here's the Right Swipe. So this one, same author, pretty much this Rhiannon Hunter creates a dating app. She only pretty much swipes right on her career, so pretty much she's career driven, but she ends up getting matched with this pro football player. She really likes him, so she tries to go for it. Well, he ghosts her, and then a couple months later comes back in her life and says that he's not going to mess up the second chance. So we'll see. I like that both of these are kind of have to do with social media, kind of modern technology things. I think that's why I love Tweet Cute by Emma Lord so much. So yeah, there you go. Okay, next is What Waits for You by Joseph Snyder. So this one follows a serial killer in Hollywood who hides out in his victims' houses for days to weeks before he strikes. He's like a very, very gruesome murderer. Like his kills are very gruesome, just way over the top. Well, you bring in Detective Tully, and she's supposed to be like this expert at gross and pretty much targeting these people, but he can't be caught. He just disappears, and he strikes, disappears, strikes, disappears. She can't figure it out. So I guess Jarsdell comes into the picture. He's an academic turned cop, and he has these unconventional ways of finding things out, and the book pretty much says that he's unconventional, so maybe he'll be able to find the unconventional serial killer. So sounded good to me, kind of. Not kind of, it's a, you know, whodunit kind of thing, you know. I think that's interesting to figure out who the murderer is, and especially having an academic turned cop find him. I think that's going to be interesting because you're probably going to get those, you don't know anything, you're not a real cop kind of thing. So we're going to kind of get that dynamic, I think. Okay, next we have Field Notes on Love by Jennifer E. Smith. So I bought this probably a month or so ago, and I was really excited to get this because this follows a man who gets dumped, but he has 2 tickets for him and his girlfriend on a 7-day long trip on a train across the country. Well, they're non-refundable, and it can only have the same names, so he puts an ad online looking for someone with the exact same name as his girlfriend to travel across country with him. They'll probably end up falling in love whatsoever, whatever. But shortly afterwards, I'm a huge fan of Jordan Fisher, and just because he's such a great thespian, he can do singing, acting, Broadway, anything. I even have watched it. I watch him play video games because my husband watches a lot of people on Twitch, and he watches a lot of the people that he plays with. So literally Jordan Fisher does everything. But he announced that he is going to be part of making this into a movie. So I was pretty excited about that because anything with Jordan Fisher, I don't know, I love it. He's such a great actor. So I'm pretty excited about it. He was able to bring John Ambrose McLaren to life in To All the Boys I Loved Before series or trilogy. So I don't know, I think he'll probably do great. So I found that out after I bought the book, so I was very excited that I already owned the book so I can read that before it comes out. Okay, next is One of Us is Next. So this is the sequel to One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. So this follows one of the main people's sisters from One of Us is Lying, and instead of an app or something like that kind of calling people out, it's a game of truth or dare. So pretty much if you don't accept or if you don't play, you get your truths spread out to the school. So kind of, I think, similar to the first one, but a little bit different with different characters. So I'm excited to pick that one up because I did love the first one. Okay, next is Lucy Foley's The Guest List. So I'm just going to read the back little thing because this is kind of like what interested me and I don't know anything else. So it says, an exclusive wedding on a remote Irish island. The bride, the +1, the best man, the wedding planner, the bridesmaid all have a secret, all have a motive, but only one is murdered. So I'm assuming that they all go to this wedding, one ends up dying, and then it's going to be a whodunit. Sounds pretty interesting. Cover is really cool. So yeah. Okay, next is Saint X by Alexis Shatkin. So this follows a girl who is Claire Thomas. Her sister ends up going missing the last day of their vacation. 2 guys are arrested, but there's really no evidence to really hold them. So they end up being let go. Well, later on in life, she ends up running into one of the suspected guys, and she makes it her mission to find information and figure out what he did and what role he played. That's all I know. I don't know what really happens after that, so I'm interested to see what happens. Okay, next 2 books are, I'm not going to really go into because I don't know much, but I did pick up another Sarah J. Maas, and this is A Court of Frost and Starlight. So I did pick up the first one, and I figured I'm going to end up reading the entire series, so I might as well pick this one up as well. I have no clue what this has to do with. I haven't read anything about it because I have not read A Court of Thorn and Roses. So yeah, I picked this one up, and I'll have to pick up the rest of the series and read it, but I got that on sale, so I figured I might as well. You know, book readers, if you're like me, where you just pick up random books because you're going to read them eventually, but it's probably 10 years down the road, so you're buying books for just to sit on your shelf. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, last book is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. So this is, I guess, a part of the Shadow Hunters series. I have no clue if that has to do with the Shadow Hunters show that was on Freeform a couple years ago. If it is, I liked the show, and I've heard really good things about this series, so I did see this. It was, I think I got this at Sam's Club for I thought it was a really good price because it's a collector's first edition and a hardcover. I think I only paid $14 for it, so I think that this was a really good deal, and I eventually want to read the series. So I picked it up because I know I still have like 100 books in front of this, but hey, one less to buy. Okay, so that is my book haul. My book stack just fell for the second time now. That is my book haul. I hope this isn't too long. I did try to go through it pretty quickly. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've read any of these books and you love them, or if you think that there's some I should put first before others, please leave a comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around. So I will see you in the next video. Bye!